Hello, I'm Pastor Demo Moffett of the Orange Church of God, 1911 North 16th Street. And I want to take this time to extend a personal invitation to you to join us on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. and Tuesday night at 7 p.m. for a dynamic and enriching service. Remember this, we are a real church for real people.
I ask that you would turn in your Bibles to the book of Proverbs, chapter 13. Say Happy Father's Day to all men that it applies.
All right.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22a.
All right.
Proverbs chapter 13, verses 22a. If you have it, say amen.
Amen.
It reads, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. On this Father's Day, I want to talk to you from the subject, a father's love is defined in his leaving. I ain't get an amen in the house.
All right.
So I guess I need to unpack that.
Please, sir.
Amen. Let me pray first.
Hallelujah.
Father, in me now reveal thy glory. Let thy might be ever shown. Keep me from the world's defilement, sacred for thyself alone. Psalm 45, let my tongue be the pen of a ready writer, and that which you've placed in my heart flow through my lips, that it might write upon the table of the hearts of those that shall hear it. We believe it.
We believe it.
We receive it.
We receive it.
We expect it.
We expect it.
We claim it.
We claim it.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Turn to your neighbor, look that neighbor square and I say, neighbor, this word is for me.
Is for me.
By this word, I am saved. By this word, I am healed. By this word, I am delivered. By this word, I am set free. Neighbor, oh neighbor, you might be helped. But this word is for me. You may be seated in the Lord's presence. Boy, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. Y'all looked at it. Y'all looked at it. A father's love is defined in his leaving. In his leaving. One of the misconceptions and expectations is that a father's, he loves like a mother. Now, I know we say that we don't think about that, but in our hearts, we look for fathers to hug and to kiss and love on us like a mother would do. Simply because in most cases, it's the mother that shows us and introduces us to our first experience of love. A father's love is so much different and in its own way has enormous value and power. A father's love is designed in his leaving. A father's love is defined in his leaving. A father's love is defined in his leaving.
Amen. All right, come on back.
Every father leaves. Every father leaves. Some leave for good reasons, some leave for bad reasons, but every father leaves. Now, some of you at this point might disagree, and that's fine, that's your right to do so. However, with every fabric and fiber of my being, I truly believe that a father's love is not defined in his stayings, but in his leavings. The Bible says, as we have read in Proverbs 13 and 22, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. There are too many of our children that have been aborted after birth by fathers who have chosen to leave negatively. A father's love is defined in his leavings. If you will allow for me, how many by show of hands believe the word of God is true? And so if you will allow for me to teach, and if I get a little excited, preach this thing, because Elder had already done my intro, and so I'll be repeating some of the things that she says. Hey, let's look at the text. A good man leaves an inheritance. Well, an inheritance is simply the acquisition of characters or qualities of importance or valuables transmitted from parent to offspring, i.e., a legacy. A legacy. A legacy. Now, for most of us, we really didn't grasp this because the only thing we heard was leave, as in to depart. But now, if you allow for me to look at the text and help us to understand that the value of a father's love is defined in his leavings. He leaves an inheritance or a legacy something such as qualities of importance or valuable that is received from someone by a will. It is a good man or a father. It is his will to leave a legacy to his children. His love is defined by his leaving. What is he leaving? Are you all with me now? You with me now? You with me? Okay, it's in his leaving. It's in his leaving. Because the text said a good man what? Leaves. That's why I say every father leaves something. Well, let's look at leave. One leave is to terminate association with, to go away from, desert, or abandon. This, for some of us, is where we first went to. He just up and chunked the deuce. And you trying to say, well, Pastor, how can you say that he loved me when he left me? Well, in some cases, it was better for him to leave than to stay and try to love you. And if you will allow for me, I'll show it to us in the text, that it was better for him to leave than it was for him to stay. Ooh, y'all really gonna make me teach this one. Okay, let's move on. Leave, devise, or the law, to give real estate by will. Every man who leaves of his own will. He is not forced to leave. He does it because he chooses to. Whenever he leaves is because of what he chooses to, is his will. Bequeath, to give or leave by will, to hand down or to transmit. As fathers, whether negatively or positively, we transmit things into our children, whether intentional or accidental. So it's leave. Well, let's look at some of these things. You can't leave what you haven't learned. And there's some fathers who've learned how to participate in afterbirth abortions. I'm just going to teach this thing as fathers here. Can't leave what you haven't learned. Abortion, the termination of development accompanied by or closely followed by the death of the self-esteem of a child. There are some fathers who have chosen to participate in afterbirth abortion by their leaving. They look to terminate the development of the child, which is accompanied closely by the death of the child's self-esteem. Abandonment, the act of withdrawing protection, support, or help for that which one is accountable. See, abandonment is a part of afterbirth abortion. There's so much conversation about pro-life or pro-choice and the rights of women when it comes to an unborn child. However, more important than this is the choice of abortion that is made by the father after the child is born. How many of our sons and daughters, after being born, only to be aborted by their fathers? Abortion is about a choice for or against life. Too many of our children are being killed because our fathers are choosing to kill the life of the child that they have fathered by aborting them through the means of abandonment. When a father abandons his children, he kills the dreams, goals, and life of the child. I do believe that this is worse than the aborting of an unborn child. A choice is made by the mother to bring life through a child only to have the father to kill the life through aborting the child. A male can help create a child, but a man cultivates a child. The blessing is that unlike aborting an unborn child, the born child has a chance to live prior to the destruction of their life, that there are men, fathers, and father figures who have a desire to step up to nurse them back to health by covering, cultivating, and celebrating the life of the child. We're losing our sons to the grit and clamor of unhealthy role models. Just sending child support is not enough, although that is a start. It doesn't end there, but begins there. Just because a father sends money is not or does not constitute child support.
That's right. That's right. Amen. Amen.
See, I think what they need to do is change that, because we have too many fathers who feel that they're doing their role by just sending money. When you talk about child support, that has to do with supporting the child.
Yeah.
Not just through money, not just through, but need to be there. And so too many fathers have aborted their children after birth because of abandonment. Mothers, you need to stop depending on that child support to make it. I ain't get an amen in the house. I ain't get an amen in the house. That's all right, I'm teaching. Because what happens is because we've gotten to this place where we focus on money and not the means of support for the child. Right. And then now there becomes this debate, and when a father's dislike for his baby mama becomes stronger than the love for his child, that helps him now to make the decision willingly to abort the child after he has been born.
Yes. Amen. Amen. That's right.
I don't like it now. This is Father's Day. This Father's Day. I'm just telling you. Children not only need our treasure, fathers, they need our temple, talents, and our time. This will not change until the hurt that these young fathers have had to suppress because they themselves have been aborted is addressed. Men, it's time for us to look to reconcile relationships between fathers and sons. We have to give more than money. We need to give positive messages of adoration, administration, and application of love, forgiveness, and vision. Now, don't get me wrong. I am very much pro-choice for pro-life, or let me say it this way. I'm very much in favor of productive choice for productive life.
Amen.
Fathers, you have a choice. What is yours?
Amen.
What is yours?
Yes. Yes.
What is yours? We have to stop killing the vision and idea of our fathers to our children.
Amen.
I understand you don't particularly like him now, but there was a time for all of 3 to 5 minutes you did.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just keeping it 100. And I'm being generous. Give me 3 to 5 minutes. But it was at that time. But now understand, we go back to his love is defined by his leavings.
Yes.
With an X, Leavings, his leaving. Well, we can't leave what we haven't learned. The first thing that we have to learn about being a father is our assignment. A specific task or amount of work assigned or undertaken as if assigned by authority. God has assigned fathers and given them an assignment. Over in Genesis chapter 1, it says for man to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. Whereas a father, the first thing we need to embrace our assignment is to be fruitful, conductive, making it easy, possible, or likely for something to happen or exist, to an abundant yield or good result, very productive. A good man leaves an inheritance. So now a father's love is defined by his leaving of the process of fruitfulness in his children.
Amen.
Amen.
Fruitfulness in his children. Next, multiply, to cause to increase greatly in number or amount, to become much more numerous. A father's love is defined by his leaving of the process of being able to cause there to be a great increase in his children's life. I'm just talking about a father's love is defined in his leaving. It is his assignment, dominion, the capacity and capability to manage, administrate, lead, or govern. A father's love is defined in his leading in the process to help his children to be able to manage their lives. See, y'all not liking me right now. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Because a father's love is defined in his leaving. A good man leaves an heritage or legacy for his children's children. And so if a father truly loves his children, this is what he's going to do. He's going to embrace his assignment. But not only is it his assignment, it is to administrate, to manage or supervise the execution, use, or conduct of. It is a father's job to leave an inheritance, a legacy of administration. He needs to leave structure and order. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4 says, "And you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord." It is the father's responsibility to show love by introducing his children into a relationship with God.
Amen.
It's hard being a father. It's hard being a father. But when it comes to his love, it is defined by what he leaves. And we have too many fathers over the course of creation who send their children to church with their mothers instead of leading them to church.
Amen. Amen.
When I love you, I'm going to lead you to church. But what am I leaving? Am I leaving? That's why I honestly believe that's why, one of the reasons why there are more women in the church than it is men. Because as young boys, we don't see daddy coming to church. He sent us to church. And now, grown folks have their own address. So thus, when I get my own address and I'm grown, I'm not going. Because daddy has left me a legacy that says when I get grown, I don't have to go. See, y'all okay? When it comes to administrative, compassion and correction, Psalms 103:13, as a father pities his children, so the Lord pities those who fear him. There is nothing wrong with a father to be compassionate to his children. A father leaves a legacy. His love through compassion. That means this compassion says, I understand where you are. I understand why you did what you did. It's not that I'm weak and I'm the old poor baby. No, I'm understanding. This word compassion is, when it equates to God, a father gives grace and mercy. I understand why you did that. Not technically ought to bust your butt. But I'm going to have compassion. Because I understand. One of the reasons why I understand is because I did something similar when I was away. But then now we have the correction. My son, do not despise. This is Proverbs 3, verses 11 and 12. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor detest his correction. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects just as a father the son in whom he delights. Correction is about placing back on course. Correction is about placing back on course. A father defines his love by leaving a legacy of correction that helps to put his children back on course. Now, part of the problem right here, see, mothers were okay with Psalms 103, but when we get to Proverbs 3, we want to run interference. Because we feel, mothers feel, well, it don't take all that. Especially when it comes to their baby boys.
Amen.
I know I'm right about it. Especially when it comes to their baby boys, they had them sidebar, back room, pillow talk, bedroom conversation. Well, did you really need to do all that? Did you really have to do all that? I understand he messed up, but did you really have to do all that? And what's amazing to me is that there's a gender talking to another gender about how to get that gender back on track when they've never been that gender. Basically, we have a woman talking to a man about a boy that needs to be put back on track to go from being a boy to a man. And then now the woman is feeling that the man didn't need to do all that for him to be a boy. And so what happens is that when the father doesn't love the child enough not to entertain what the mother says, now the boy grows up to be an adult boy.
Amen.
Oh, this is real tight.
Yeah.
Tight. Y'all not like I'm talking about fathers, man. See, because why? Okay, let me keep it moving. Also, empathy and education. Empathy, the action of understanding, being aware of, or being sensitive to. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, do not provoke your children lest they become discouraged. A father's role in his correction is not to destroy, but to develop. See, mothers, I'm on your side. Because there's a certain way to correct children to where you don't destroy their self-esteem. And that's the responsibility of the father, especially when he's showing love. He's leaving this process of empathy. That I am sensitive to what's going on. I'm understanding. And so now, see, this is why I'm talking to you this time. Because you are not stupid. You are intelligent, and so I'm going to talk to you. And each generation is more intelligent than the next. So now I'm just simply telling you that I need for you to help out around the house and take the garbage out. If you do not take the garbage out, then now what you're saying to me is, Daddy, I want you to whoop me. I want you to take things from me. That's what you're saying when you don't do what I ask you to do. When you lie to me, what you're saying to me is, I disrespect your position of authority. That's what you're saying to me. And so now, because I am the king of this castle, and if you choose to disrespect the kingship of this kingdom, then I have no other choice but to vanquish you out. See, I'm just talking about some love. See, but part of the problem is this present generation and the one before them, they don't even know what yours is. They have to make up their bed and clean up their room, and they get an attitude. Why? Why? Tell you what, you don't want to make up your bed, sleep on the floor. You don't want to clean up your room, Move your stuff into the hallway. Say, ooh, I'm just talking about love. Because I'm going to leave that legacy. Especially with girls. You want to act up? I'm going to take the door off the hinges. You have no privacy. Oh.
Yes.
And last but not least, grown folk got their own address.
Amen.
So you want to do, go get your own address. You do what you want to do. Because the truth of the matter is that you are residing in my house, sleeping in my bed, which is in my room, eating my food in my refrigerator, which is in my kitchen. You own my cell phone.
Yeah.
My oldest granddaughter, bless her heart, she's 12.
Amen.
Mom got a cell phone. She got upset with her mom one day. My granddaughter blocked her. My daughter was calling and they were going to write the voicemail. Write the voicemail. Write the voicemail. She messed around and called from her work number. And my granddaughter answered. Judge, jury, execution. But the children feel this sense of entitlement because, and here's the thing, and I'm gonna brace myself because some folk might get up and start running and shouting after this. Our children feel a sense of entitlement,
Yes.
and it is not the fault of the mothers. Mothers, it is not your fault. Why? Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart far from it. It is the father's responsibility, if you love your children, to impart discipline in their life. There was a time, and I'm going to date myself, but it's okay. There was a show that used to come on called Leave the Beef. And the beef would tremble whenever his mama say, I'm going to tell your daddy when you got home. She didn't even try to discipline. All she had to say is, I'm going to tell your dad. And there's not enough fear or trembling in our children if our mothers say, I'm going to tell your daddy. Not because mama's a snitch, it's simply because daddy ain't doing his job. See, y'all not liking me right here. Y'all not liking me. It is the father's responsibility, if he has any kind of love for his children, that he is to leave a legacy of obedience in his children. I thank God. Can I call a roll on myself? I thank God for my father, even though I don't ever remember him and my mother being married in the same house. But I do remember him coming by every Friday with their child support check. And he would ask me, how's it going? And I said it was fine. He didn't take my word for it. He asked my mother, how's it going? And saw she returned state's evidence on it. Did your son tell you this? Did your son? No, I ain't telling you. For what? Because I knew what was going to happen. I had two witnesses coming. The first one because of what I did. The second one was because I didn't obey my mother. She said, I'm going to tell your dad. No, please don't tell. Please don't tell it. We don't, you know what? I don't know too many kids today who would beg their mamas not to tell their daddies because they had a respectful fear of what daddy would do. He did not
Hello, I'm Pastor Demo Moffett of the Orange Church of God, 1911 North 16th Street. And I want to take this time to extend a personal invitation to you to join us on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. and Tuesday night at 7 p.m. for a dynamic and enriching service. Remember this, we are a real church for real people.